Your enemy right now is not what you think. It's not lawyers, it's not her, it's not a situation, all that garbage. It's complacency. What is complacency? Complacency, well, it's comfortable. It's the stuff you're used to. It's the things you say to yourself. It's the actions you take. It's the things you put on the shelf and actions you put on the shelf because they're out of your comfort zone. But to move past this as a person and a newly minted member of the Divorce Club, the road is getting comfortable with being uncomfortable. All right, so that sounds pretty miserable, right? But let's talk about some tools to help you do that. Because on the other side of discomfort is comfort and a solidness to you, a foundation which you don't have right now. Because as I've said a lot, it's like a spinning compass, right? Your world's been turned upside down. All right, so good tool I've been using is the ancient thought process of Stoicism. Okay, what is Stoicism? I encourage you to read up on it. It's got a rap for being kind of a cold and non-caring attitude it promotes, but that's not accurate. And when you read it, if you read it, you'll understand that. Okay, so basic tenement of Stoicism is there are things we can control and things we cannot control, right? Out of our hands. So quickly right now, just take some event. Could be her, it could be a job, asking a boss for a raise. It could be a red light. It could be an ankle that's troubling you working out. Any of that stuff. You take a quick thought of that as I figure out where I'm going. Okay, I think I did. So let's categorize that in saying, okay, let's take this event. Do a boss for a raise, okay? You want to ask your boss for a raise. What can you control? What can't you control? What can't you control? Obviously, the aversion, the anxiety is you won't get the raise. You might have to look for a new job. You have to hear things you may not want to hear. There's negatives there and you're worried about them. You have an aversion to them. But what we're trying to do is pin our desire, right, the opposite of aversion, to things we can control. And then you might want to add to that an aversion to to not doing things you can control. Okay, what does that mean? So you're going in there, ask the boss for a raise. What can you control? Just go real simple. Being punctual, going over your presentation, why, your pitch, why you deserve a raise, an authenticity about you. You cannot control if he or she had a bad day, will give you the raise, has budget constraints. All you can control is your presentation within your framework. And your aversion, you might say, you want to shift that from aversion to fear of not getting the raise or pushing too hard or ramifications of that to an aversion of not being authentic and asking for what you want, right? So desire those things which you can control and have an aversion to not doing that. That's the way I look at it, kind of a double barrel approach. Now, conceptually, that sounds good, but I know you because I know me. And yeah, it sounds good. You'll think about it. Then you'll turn this video off. You'll think about it some more, then forget it and go right back into it. So here's what you're going to do. Make 2 columns. Again, this is from a workbook I'm doing, which I'll post at some point, or you ask me about it. So you take a column of, take your event, asking boss for a raise. Put in one column, what can I control? In the other one, what can I control? Then you can throw in some anxiety about that. You know, talk about what you're anxious about there. And then you obviously you move to the control column and you focus in on what you can control. And then you look at the things you can't control. Okay? And the aversion we talked about. Now, again, write this down. And the most important part of what I'm telling you right now is go through this. Write it down and then go through it through daily life, whether you be at a red light, asking the boss to raise, as we said, your ankle's bothering you for training, you have a call to a friend about anything. Go through the process and do that for 3 to 5 days. Okay, don't think about it, bro. See, you keep thinking about things and you get caught in here. And we need to get into the discomfort zone and get comfortable with that. And that tool I just gave you will help you do that. But if you think and just think and consider, you will get back into your spinning compass. I'm telling you, this stuff will begin to stick and sink in. So every morning, just do one thing. It's literally so quick. Today I'm anxious because the plumber's coming. What if that leak doesn't hold that they repair? Whatever. What can you control? What can't you? And it starts clearing your thinking. Whoa. Okay. So it's early morning here in the Northeast, rainy and cold. Like to be in bed, right? But I'm out here because on the other side of this, I know is good stuff, right? And obviously it's beautiful. I don't mean to discount that, but I'm just pushing myself for a 10-mile weighted hike. Okay, so look at this. That's what awaits you. Not bad, right? You earn that. And you don't earn that sitting in bed and not putting the feet on the ground. Okay, again, I push physically. That's my road in, but the exercise we just talked about is, I wanted to show you something. Maybe it's the wrong spot. All right, there it is. In there, you'll see that between those two trees, if you can make it out, yeah, there. That's an old fireplace of an old house, okay? That's your old life, man. It's, changed. It's older for a reason. It's there, sitting there, and you're gonna build a new foundation. You have to take action. Bruce Lee said, the high road to success or change is action. And it doesn't have to be, oh, Randall, did CrossFit really? I just saw that on TV. I don't want to go on that. No, do the stoicism exercise we talked about. Do some light stretching or go back to guitar, but break out of what you're doing. Of course, the high level is to sit and just breathe and naturally come to these things. But sometimes we need a push to get there. Okay, and these things are pushes. Physical, emotional, mental. And learn to push yourself. You got to man up. May not like that term these days, but whatever. Man up. And that means going inside yourself and facing things. Doesn't mean being guilty and getting on yourself or telling her off or anything like that. We've talked about that. But I think we get lost when we talk about higher concepts like, look, you can't control, in passing, right? You can't control what you can't control. You can only control this. And that's valuable. But I think putting tools together to help you get through that is important. And some of you guys have been in the game for 2 years or so away from the divorce, or 4 years, or, it just happened 2 minutes ago, or 2 months, or 2 weeks, or 2 days. And listen, this channel is about personal growth as a rule anyway. Okay, so the divorce thing is just the spark to set that off. And there is a fork in the road for you. And one side is, ready for you if you're ready for it. Okay, I'm going to pick that up and walk some. Again, I'm physical. It doesn't mean that you have to do that. Play the guitar, do something you want to do, origami, or, play the violin, or go for a walk. Just start looking at life through the filter of things you can control and those you can't. And I think you might be getting on your way, right? Okay. Good to talk to you, my friends.